Hello, and welcome to the Sugar Bell Review, a program dedicated to learning about the people, places, and policies that make up the Bellbrook Sugar Creek community. This evening, we have with us Jason Laveck from Portraits of Hope. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Josh got the pleasure of going out with you and taking photos of you taking photos.
Yes.
This last weekend?
It was on Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like such a really cool project. Would you like to explain it a little bit more so that our viewers know what you do?
For sure. So Josh got to see this year, which is kind of like a scaled down event due to COVID-19. But essentially what it is I took my two passions of photography and a love for cancer patients. And I was working in oncology when I came up with the idea. I was a scheduler for oncologist group for about 12 years. And I thought, how can I give back to these people? I mean, these people are amazing. I met so many people who were in radio, people who have just done amazing things in their life. And I was like, man, I feel like I'm family with these people, so I want to give back to them. So I said, well, I'll do a photography event where I take pictures of them and provide them with resources because I have a lot of connections in the oncology community, and that's what it turned into. Was I would have them out. I would take a portrait of them. I would take a portrait. They'd bring their family and get a family portrait as well. And then inside, every other year, we would have like an information fair. So there would be a masseuse there that would give massages for people who had had chemotherapy. There were places like the Maple Tree Cancer Alliance who would come out talk about their exercise programs that they have. One of the coolest parts was the therapy dogs that would come out, and everybody would get to pet them, and I did free portraits for them as well. So yeah, it's always been it's been going on for 5 years now. This was the 5th year. Each year has been more successful than the one before it, and this year it would have been a lot bigger, but we still had over 40 families come out this year. So
wow.
Yeah.
I've been seeing some of them come through Facebook, the pictures. It's just been, I look forward to having them show up while we're talking, because I'm sure the viewers will be able to see what you did, and it'll be exciting for them.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's absolutely just astounding. It's my mother-in-law, Josh's mom, actually. I think you may even know her. Went through the program at Kettering and with breast cancer a couple of years back.
Yeah. And
so I think you may have still been working at the hospital at that point.
I may have been. I wouldn't acknowledge it just because of HIPAA.
Patient consent,
but I've met a lot of people and they've all we're looking for flooring for a new house right now, and the person that I'm getting flooring from is the husband of the daughter of one of my patients that passed away. So I've always, that woman that passed away she was like a second mom to me, but she always called me her boyfriend because I always just did a good job. I had to set up scans and stuff for them and get them set up for.
They need so much work.
So much stuff, and they just appreciate it so much. So we became close. I've been to tons of funerals too, but the family treated me like family always. So that's how I've kind of developed this passion to give back to. I've even taken photos at different oncology events, like the Maple Tree Cancer Alliance had a gala, and I donated a photography package to that for their silent auction, and I took photos for the event. Got to meet tons of great people there as well. I did one for another event as well, and I can't remember. Oh, the pink people. What are they called?
Breast cancer awareness is all I got. Pink people.
Yeah. Well, there's a group of ladies that always comes out to get pictures every year at Portraits of Hope. And the Pink Ribbon Girls.
Oh, okay.
So they all come out together, and I get this group of 15 people. And this year it was cool because it was it's kind of like those pictures you see from the Spanish flu where there's groups of people just wearing masks. I was like, let's encapsulate the era, and take pictures. Everybody has masks on, and it's something you could look at 100 years from now and see, oh, that's what was going on in that era. So, but yeah, the Pink Ribbon Girls, I did one of their galas at the UD Arena and did photos for that, and it's just amazing. You meet tons of amazing people.
Now, how long have you been taking pictures?
I've been taking pictures for over 10 years. It started off as just like a hobby.
Okay.
And then people were like, "Oh, you take some pictures, so that's good. Can you take pictures of me?" And so I would take pictures, like just like different portraits of stuff and people. And then eventually, it kind of like kept snowballing and to like, you know, can you do family pictures and can you do weddings and
birthdays?
And yeah, so I've done all of it now, and most of the time I just donate my time. I give back, and I've always kind of marketed myself as somebody that I'm the guy you come to if you can't afford one of those like fancy photographers, and I'll still get you some decent looking photos. Because I honestly have had people call me even in the last week for photos that I took for a senior portrait shoot last year. They're like, Walgreens says I need a release because these look like professional pictures. I was like, well, that's flattering. I'll send you a release right over. So
yeah, well, that's really cool. So you were in the oncology scheduling, and then you started the photography as a hobby, and the two kind of eventually merged with the Portraits of Hope. That's neat that it sort of all fell into place like that for you.
Yeah, I even, before I left the group that I was with, we had an annual event that we would do where we'd get all of our employees together down at Sinclair, and they had me do event photography. They had guest speakers come out and do motivational speaking, and I would take pictures of the guest speakers and do portraits for everybody, like different groups at the event too. So everybody just kind of volunteer my time everywhere I can when it comes to photography.
Well, it must be pretty good at then if they keep, you know, wanting you to come around and take the pictures.
Yeah.
That's really a fun hobby that's super special because it definitely is, you know, again, like I said, my mother-in-law was in the situation. She's a survivor. And we actually have a friend who's also a survivor that the amount that they go through to try and to get to that point of being a survivor is in some cases very difficult. So the idea of being able to celebrate it on the other end with something they don't have to worry about, something that's just for them, it's very sweet. And I can only imagine how happy that everybody is to be a part of that event for multiple reasons.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool because you can look back over the 5 years. I've got one woman that comes every year. And when the first year she came, it was her first, she just was diagnosed earlier that year. We always do it around the end of July, and she was diagnosed just a couple months before and just started chemo, had lost all of her hair. And so we have that first picture of her with her hair gone. And then each year she came back, she wore the same pink shirt every time. And this year she came, and you know, it's a 5th year coming, and she's like, I lost my shirt, Jason.
Oh no.
So a funny story about her. Her name is Sarah. I actually I went to Springfield because she missed Portraits of Hope, and I was like, you come every year. I've got to do this for you. So about 2 years ago, I went to Springfield and took just free pictures because her daughter was in town from New York, and I took pictures of her and her family and got her portraits to add to the Portraits of Hope from that year. So I try to do everything I can to accommodate everybody because, you know, it doesn't always work out to do it like once a year.
Well, and right now it's its own level of complication.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that did through you. So you said you still had 40 families this year. What is normal, I should say the last couple of years, what's the normal number of families you shoot?
Gosh, I think last year was our biggest year, and we had probably close to 60 to 70 families come out.
That is a lot.
Or groups of people, I should say, because some people don't have family, and they bring, like some of the girls this year brought just what they called their support system. Some people were battling things other than cancer and brought their recovery group with them, and so they had all those people and a photo with them. So it was just to have that moment for them to show that, you know, you came this far, you have all these people in your corner, and now it's kind of captured, and you can look at that for as long as you need it to encourage you.
Yeah, as long as you need it for that support.
Yeah.
That's just awesome. Well, thank you. I mean,
Yeah,
not
you're
for
welcome.
It's just cool to know that there are people in this community that feel that strongly about helping each other.
Yeah, for sure.
So now, outside of photography, do you have a family and kids too?
Yeah. So me and my wife, we have 2 girls, a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, and we have a little boy on the way, coming in October. And then we're balancing kids, trying to figure out school now, and then we run a salon on top of that.
Oh.
So yeah.
So which salon do you guys run?
It's 937 Salon and Spa in Kettering.
Okay.
So
you're technically business owners now too, on top of being
Yes.
a volunteer.
yes. I know, you know, you and your husband are super busy. Like, we're right up there with you constantly. Like, it's like you never stop working.
No.
You know, having kids, having to get signed up for school, what's going on with the business. I got this volunteer event that I'm doing. Everything's going on, and
then throw COVID into the mix.
yeah, and that is just something we weren't expecting.
Yeah, it's made 2020 an interesting year.
Indeed.
Well, that's cool. Do you now? You work at the business salon full time now, right?
I do. I
Okay.
mostly work remotely because I take care of the kids at home, kind of like a stay-at-home dad type dealio, and
Hey,
I just
childcare is expensive.
yeah. So I work out of my basement, work out of my living room, I work from my front porch, and I go into the salon once a week when we have a babysitter. She was off today, so I stayed at home and worked and got a lot done. So
Well, it's good that you're effective at home too. I know it's
Yeah.
difficult sometimes,
Yeah, it
especially
is.
with little ones around. Now, are you excited about the third? You said
The
you had
third,
2
yes.
girls, so
Yeah,
you're now
I'm
getting a little
stoked.
boy.
Yeah, he's already like showing that he's kind of like me. He's like, he does cartwheels the same time every night around between 9 and 10 o'clock in Esther's stomach, and you see him doing a cartwheel, and her little stomach pops up, and it's like the coolest thing. And I'm like, that dude, he's gonna be like me. And
On a schedule.
yeah, stick to that schedule, or else I'd feel like I'm going crazy.
Well, with as much as you're doing, that makes sense. You know.
Yeah.
It sounds like without having some sort of defined timeline, you'd have difficulty keeping up. I know I do.
Right. Yeah.
Well, definitely. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
thank you so much for doing this. And next year you'll probably do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Pending the circumstances of everything that's going on in the world, as long as the world is still here, I'll be here doing pictures.
All right. So end of July-ish.
Yep.
All right. And it sounds like you do more than just cancer survivors.
Their families.
Okay. You said that there were a few people that had shown up with their support groups that were battling.
Oh,
other
yeah,
things.
Yep. So anybody that they bring with them, I'll do portraits with them.
Awesome.
One lady even brought in her kid and said, well, because of the schools being shut down, she didn't get her school picture this year. So I took a school picture for her this weekend.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Well, then next year, around the end of July, look for the Portraits of Hope. And hopefully you'll be back to celebrating all of the survivors. And
Yeah.
hopefully you won't have too many. But obviously, if you do, at least there's the joy of survival.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
Thank you. We
Yeah,
appreciate you
thank
coming
you.
in, and hope everybody has a great evening. And we will see you all on the next time around.